currently July 1st and I'm sitting around trying to figure out what to record for my next video. And one thing just came up at 10:12 in the morning. I checked my phone and all of a sudden, Myles Turner has signed a 4-year, $107 million contract with the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, I considered making this video about why this year's Oklahoma City Thunder team should have been the greatest team of all time. Then I was like, never mind, I can't yap about that for long enough. And then I transitioned into talking about how the Brooklyn Nets are absolutely destroying their own franchise. And then this slowly turned into Myles Turner just broke the bank for the Milwaukee Bucks, signing for about $26 million, $27 million a year on average. That's unheard of. Myles Turner is really, really valuable to a team. But Myles Turner also had one of the most lackluster NBA Finals runs that I've ever personally watched. Game 1 and Game 2 were different stories than Games 3 through 7. Because Myles Turner in Games 3 through 7 looked like a traffic cone and barely played any defense. Known for blocking shots, Myles Turner blocked a total of 2 shots in Game 6 and then dropped 5 blocks, which is an impressive feat, in Game 3. But Myles Turner also can't grab rebounds. Myles Turner is the first player in NBA history that I've seen stand 6'11" with a 7'4" wingspan that is absolutely awful at grabbing rebounds. His career high came 7 years ago on December 23rd, in which he achieved 17 rebounds. He also achieved the same number on March 7th of 2019. But when it comes down to it, Myles Turner's highest career average in rebounds, I want to say, is in the 6s. No, 7.5, 2022 to 2023, Myles Turner was grabbing 7.5 boards a game. But for someone with his size and his stature, he should be grabbing more. But the Milwaukee Bucks just broke the bank for him. And why is that? Why did the Milwaukee Bucks feel the need to break the bank for Myles Turner? Well, currently their lineup is projected to look like this: Kevin Porter Jr. at point guard, Gary Trent Jr. at shooting guard, Kyle Kuzma at small forward, Giannis Antetokounmpo at power forward, and now Myles Turner at center. But here's my thing that I want to propose. What is stopping the Milwaukee Bucks from A, trading Kyle Kuzma for a valuable guard, or B, playing the tallest lineup that the NBA has seen? I'm talking Kevin Porter Jr. at point guard, Kyle Kuzma at shooting guard, Giannis at small forward, Bobby Portis at power forward, and Myles Turner at center. Now, would this be physically possible? I believe so. I think Giannis Antetokounmpo can easily keep up with most threes in the league. I think he has the athleticism, the lateral movement, and also the length to keep up with just about anybody. Bobby Portis honestly feels more natural in a power forward position, and now Myles Turner can lock down the center role while also playing on the perimeter. The Milwaukee Bucks, though, have one glaring problem, and that is their point guard. Their point guard situation is one of the worst in the league. I mean, this rotation is led by Kevin Porter Jr., Ryan Rollins, and Andre Jackson Jr. I mean, Kevin Porter Jr. played very well in his time in Milwaukee last season. He averaged like 11, 3, and 6. He shot like 40% from 3. Those are good numbers, but it's going to be different over the course of an 82-game season. That's different. He spent like 20 games with Milwaukee. Now he has to spend quadruple that. Can he produce at the same amount? I have no idea. But what I do know is that the addition of Myles Turner next to Giannis Antetokounmpo after losing Brook Lopez is the perfect acquisition. Myles Turner is one of the best stretch bigs in the NBA. He knows how to shoot the ball at a high clip, constantly shooting well over 35% from 3 in recent years. In fact, since 2022, he shot over 35% from 3 all 3 seasons. And this past season, he actually had his best year shooting the three-pointer at 39.5%. So in perspective, Myles Turner is a 29-year-old center who now is getting paid $27 million basically to play next to Giannis. And for me, this move signifies that the Milwaukee Bucks are still looking to contend. Now, the truth is that this cannot be a contending team this year. They're a move away. They need a different kind of player. They need a different kind of star at the guard position. This lineup just won't work, so I came up with this trade. Now, looking at this trade, it may not look like a lot for Coby White, but honestly, I find it hard to question, or I guess I find it easy to question is the correct term of the English language that I'm looking for, is how much the Bulls can realistically get for Coby White. He's an expiring contract. Yeah, I don't know if he wants to stay in Chicago, and whoever trades for him is going to have to pay him. Remember, Josh Giddey and Alex Caruso was a 1-for-1 swap. This is going to be about the same. I think that 2 first-round picks Kyle Kuzma, a second-round pick, to the Chicago Bulls in exchange for Coby White and Javon Carter makes plenty of sense if the Bulls don't want to trade Coby White. Now, of course, these two picks aren't that valuable. With a 2027 first-round pick is a swap between the Pelicans and the Bucks. The Bulls would get the lesser of the two, but honestly, it could turn out to be pretty good depending on, injuries and all that. And then, of course, the 2031 pick is top 8 protected. You could honestly lower the protection to top 3 or top 5, but I think that protecting this pick makes sense for both sides because Coby White is going to be demanding a lot of money, and this could end up being a one-season rental. Now, what I just learned in this entire Myles Turner sweepstakes is that he actually had room. The room to sign Myles Turner came from waiving Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard is now a free agent who is injured with a torn Achilles. He's free to go wherever. Miami, here we come. I mean, his dream is literally coming true. He can finally play for the Miami Heat. But now, after acquiring Coby White, here is what the Milwaukee Bucks rotation I believe would be. I think you would start Kevin Porter Jr. at point guard, Coby White at shooting guard. I think Taurean Prince could maybe steal that starting small forward spot along with Andre Jackson Jr. maybe. Or you could do my idea and go big. Giannis Antetokounmpo at small forward, Bobby Portis at power forward, Myles Turner at center. And then, of course, you would sub out one of Bobby Portis or Myles Turner early into basketball games in order to create a good, solid rotation. But that's just me. I do think that the Milwaukee Bucks are one trade away from making a splash in the NBA playoffs like they've been looking to do for these last couple of seasons. They need to realize that their time to win is running out. Giannis Antetokounmpo is very keen on winning a championship and staying in Milwaukee. If he wasn't, he would have asked out already. But Giannis Antetokounmpo can't be expected to wait around forever. He's one of the best players in the league, and in my opinion, is the best player in the league. And I know that Jokic stands will get on me for that. But honestly, I don't care. I believe what I believe. And I think that Giannis is the best player in the NBA. And I think it's very close. I think Jokic and Giannis are the two best players. And then there's a gap for number 3. Now, do I believe that the Milwaukee Bucks all of a sudden are title contenders with this Myles Turner signing? No. Honestly, I think if anything, they're still in the same spot. They still don't have a reliable guard option. They need a reliable guard option. They need to trade Kyle Kuzma for a guard option. They maybe need to go after Chris Paul. I would love it if the Milwaukee Bucks just said, hey, Chris Paul, come play with Giannis. And then you would have Chris Paul, Kevin Porter Jr. running your guard rotation. That seems like a good fit. But do they have the money for that now? Probably not. I think Chris Paul is basically guaranteed to go to the Clippers, maybe even the Lakers. But one thing is for sure, Chris Paul would be a perfect fit in Milwaukee. There's so many other names that could fit well in Milwaukee, but it's hard to acquire good point guards for the Milwaukee Bucks. Why? Because they don't have the picks to trade. They don't have the money. They don't have the players to trade. They don't have the money to sign anybody now. It's a very weird spot. But Myles Turner is the perfect fit next to Giannis Antetokounmpo, and he will stretch the floor for one of the best players, if not the best player in the NBA, and one of the best players of all time. This frees up the middle for Giannis. This gets a younger Brook Lopez archetype in there after he left for LA. You're basically getting a more athletic and younger Brook Lopez for a lot more money, don't get me wrong, but he is worth the money. Whether or not he underperformed in the playoffs or not, he is worth the money. And I know Myles Turner is upset that he had to leave the Pacers. He has said publicly multiple times about his desires to stay with the Indiana Pacers until he retired. I mean, think about all the Lego sets he has to move now. Myles Turner wanted to be a Pacer until he retired, but the Pacers apparently were scared to go into the second apron. And the Pacers, since that Tyrese Halliburton injury that completely changed the trajectory of their team, it looks like they might enter a little bit of a retooling period in which we see players like Myles Turner leave, in which we could see players like TJ McConnell get dealt, in which we could see players like Pascal Siakam get on the trade block so they could build a younger, better core around Tyrese Halliburton for when he comes back next NBA season. Because he's not going to come back this entire year. There's going to be a year for this team where Tyrese Halliburton is not involved in anything. And that's because they just don't have the facilities to bring anyone in, but also don't have the facilities to contend this year. But somehow the New Orleans Pelicans gave them back their own first-round pick. So there's no incentive for the Pacers to care about this season. Why not just tank, get a good draft pick, make it in the top 10 maybe even, and then just figure it out, you know? Get a good young rookie next to Tyrese Halliburton for the next season, and you'll have it figured out. I like this trip for both sides. I think Damian Lillard getting waived is a strong, bold move by the Bucks. That is $120 million that you're going to have to pay out over the course of the next 5 years. But to be honest, I think it's a good move because Damian Lillard was really adding nothing to this Milwaukee Bucks team. He'll go play somewhere that he actually wants to be, and everything's going to work out. But that's my take. Myles Turner to the Bucks has been the biggest move of free agency so far. Appreciate you guys for watching. And yeah, let's go.